Hello, thank you for checking out my video today. Today's video is about this 8088 motherboard built on an ISA card. So it's been about 6 months since I've worked on an 8088 motherboard. I've been working on my V40 project lately, but I've taken what I've learned there and brought it over to this project. So I'll just point out the features here. We've got our processor here. It's an actual 8088. We've got our clock, which is an 8284. Our crystal, which is a 14.31818. We've got a 74 LS74. This is for dividing the clock down for the system timer and the speaker. We've got a 74 LS257. This is used for the read-write decoding off of the processor. I used to use like a LS138, but then I came across this, and actually it was like an 8085 manual or an 8088 or 8080 manual, and they were using this, and it made sense to use one of these instead. Anyway, we got our address latch here. It's a LS573. We have our other address latch for the upper lines up here. So this is 16 through 19. This one is 0 through 7. 8 through 15 are not latched. Got our data transceiver. It's a LS245. And then we've got our 512K of RAM. Now, I've been asked why I don't go to 64K a few times, or not 64K, 640K. And it's just that to decode out the other 128K just requires more parts, and I'm just trying to keep this more cost effective, and 512 is plenty for what we're doing here. Got our 32K ROM. I've got it on this if socket so we can develop with this. 32K of RAM. This is an upper memory, so this is at the top end of memory, so it starts at address F0000. This one is at the bottom. This is where starts at address 0. We've got our interrupt controller here. This is an 8259. We've got our system timer here, the 8254. And then I have port 61 here, which is just a latch, and that's to enable the speaker and the I/O check, or for your non-maskable interrupt. Built in the keyboard controller here. This one happens to be a 82C42. It comes over to a PS2 keyboard port. Then we're using our CH376 for the USB. And what I've done is I've put in a header here and a little one there. This is just for another place to hang on to. And then where this is parallel and serial, you just plug that right on in. So the rest of these, we've got LS07. This has to do with the keyboard. LS04, we use this for inverting lines that need to be inverted. Then we got some decoding here, 138s and 139s up here. So that's the basics of the board. Now I have a Keystone 9202 here, which can go on here. But I'll need to punch some holes for the keyboard and the USB here. So this, like I said, this is designed to go onto a backplane, and I've got one here that I've made. And then I'm going to be using a VGA card. So I'm going to pause this, get it all set up, and then we'll run a demo. Alright, so we're ready to boot it up. So this is using the exact same BIOS as my V40 motherboard. It just basically, the 8088 is just going to ignore any V40 setup commands. There's nothing at those port addresses. And this is that third-party BIOS that I talked about on my previous video. Now, There's definitely some issues with this I'm going to have to work out. CGA card won't work, but the VGA will. You can hear the speaker just toning. That longer tone probably has more to do with it being a slower processor. But you've seen that tone right between the prompts there. That shouldn't be happening, so the way it's built maybe needs to be adjusted. So let's just do MSD, Microsoft Diagnostics. The speaker's going to just tone. Well, this time it didn't. Last time it did. There it goes. So there you go. You can see that it shows that it's got 512K of RAM. It's got a VGA card, no network, DOS 6.20. The processor is an 8088. When I run this with a NEC V20, it actually says NEC V20 there. For some reason, it says we've got an A, B, C, D, and E drive when we only have a C. Just exit this. So you can hear that speaker making noise. Go back to the prompt. Let's just. It's actually pretty fast. This is running at 4.77 megahertz. You can see how quickly it loaded. So it's almost as fast as the V40, I would say. So I've tested it with all the files, and not everything works as well as on the V40 board that I made. But quite a few things still work, though. Like I say, there are some issues with this. I've got to figure out why the CGA card won't work. VGA probably works because it's got its own clock, where the CGA uses the system clock. So there may be some issues with that. And then I got to figure out what's going on with the speaker. So anyway, thanks for checking it out.